what you need to know about the wizarding world of Harry Potter at Epic Universe.
I'm going to be zero help in this video.
It's going to be good.
Hey everyone, Ben and Aubrey here, and Epic Universe opens in 2025, which in reality is really not that far away. And today, we're going to talk about everything that you need to know, as well as some speculation about the wizarding world of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic.
If you enjoy this video, hold tight. There's way more to come because we're going to be diving into every world at Epic Universe and more. So stick with us because we are pumped to bring it to you. First and foremost, Ben, do you know what the official name of the wizarding world in Epic Universe?
This is probably one of the few things that I actually can help with. It is the wizarding world of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic.
Ooh, how do you feel about that?
I don't know.
I'm stoked. That said, I think it's a very curious setup because the name includes the Ministry of Magic, but it's more than just London's Ministry of Magic. When we're talking about this new wizarding world, we're not talking about Hogsmeade, we're not talking about Diagon Alley. We are bringing a whole new land to Epic Universe in 2025, or Universal is. Just to be clear, this area is going to host two locations in the wizarding world. First, the main portion of this land, although named the Ministry of Magic, is centered around 1920s France.
Dr. Oddfellow time frame.
Don't confuse people with that. Not Dr. Oddfellow, folks. We're talking the wizarding world.
No.
When we're talking about 1920s France, we are looking more at the Fantastic Beast era. We have gone back in time. We are looking at Dumbledore in his prime, Grindelwald in his prime, both Johnny Depp as well as, I don't remember the other man's name.
Newt Scamander.
Well, then there's also Newt Scamander. Yes, we are in Paris in 1920s, and there are going to be details to show you and surround you with all things French. Not only will you be able to be in France,
whoa,
but you will
also
be transported into London's Ministry of Magic.
How's that gonna work?
We'll get to it. We will get to it. Let's talk a little bit about what you can expect when you visit 1920s France in the streets of Paris. I'm not French, I don't have a good accent. Each world has a portal, we know that. Tell them a little bit about what they can expect with the portal of the wizarding world.
You will be greeted by a wand, not this wand, but a wand.
Oh, okay.
Good try.
Darn.
But the Elder Wand. Now, the question is, who's holding the Elder Wand?
Grindelwald.
Dumbledore. Voldemort.
No, the nails aren't long enough on it for it to be.
Harry.
No.
He breaks it.
Yeah. Well, there is a Elder Wand being held by a hand on the top of this portal entrance to summon you to this new wizarding world.
You will also see the saying from our favorite Dumbledore character, for in our dreams, we enter a world entirely our own.
Oh no, does that make you like your heart warm just thinking about it? Because
if I hadn't looked this up, I probably would not have associated it with Dumbledore.
Oh, we need to read the books more together. We do. One other piece of detail within this portal entrance that I'm very excited to see is they have included a time turner. And I think the relevance of this time turner is so important because if you've been to the wizarding world in the other parks of Universal, you're in traditional Harry Potter time, okay? For the Fantastic Beasts series, you're going back in time to the 1920s. So we have to get you back there somehow. And it's not to say that you're traveling backwards in time, but this is a nice little ode to it with a time turner in the portal, because how else are you gonna go from Harry Potter time, when Dumbledore has a long beard, to way back in time when Dumbledore is a young buck.
Wearing a nice suit.
Yeah, yeah. Next, you walk through the portal, okay?
Walking through the portal.
And bam!
Bam!
You're in France, kind of.
Paris.
So to get into the wizarding world, not only are you gonna walk through this portal, but then there's gonna be an arc. Do you know what that arc? Arc? Arch? Arch? Arc.
Arch.
What's the difference between an arch and an arc?
That's a good question.
Unless we're talking Noah's Ark and then we're getting into some strange stuff.
Boat.
Anyway, an arc. The arc is the, I don't know how to say it.
The Arc of Saint-Denis or Saint Denis.
This arc is a specific tribute in the second Fantastic Beasts film, Crimes of Grindelwald, and they have really taken an exact image from that movie to place this arc, which is a real arc, mind you. Arch, darn. I'm flipping back and forth between the two folks, to really immerse you in this new world. A couple of cool things that I'm really stoked about with this, the detail and the, we'll just say the money they put into it. It's bigger and better than what we've seen so far in the Wizarding World. The streets are wider, the buildings are taller. Diagon Alley is already so detailed and packed at times with how busy it is. I'm pumped that they've made things bigger and taller just because there's going to be so many people visiting this area of the Epic Universe parks.
It's gonna be crazy.
But you're not just going to France.
We're not.
No, we're going to the Ministry of Magic. That's what the name of this area is.
How are we gonna get to London?
How would we get to London from France, Ben?
A magic car.
No.
Buckbeak.
That's a cool idea, actually, but no.
Apparate.
Only on YouTube videos.
A broom.
Also a great idea, and there is potential for some fun broom flights in the future, I think, but no.
The night bus.
Also a great idea. No. You're coming up with a lot of great forms of transportation.
The Flu Network.
Yes. So, the other area that you can expect in this new Wizarding World, because it's in the name also, is the Ministry of Magic. To be clear, we are specifically talking about the Ministry of Magic in London that you read about in the books, that you see in the Harry Potter movies. We're not doing the Ministry of Magic in France. So you have to transport between France and London, and the one way to get there is via the Flu Network. I think it's gonna be so exciting to see how they pull this off. Now, one note that I wanna make is there have been rumors about toilets in getting into the Ministry of Magic, because that is in the movies.
It is.
It is. Do you remember that scene? They step into the toilet.
And they flush themselves.
They flush themselves.
It's a dangerous move there, Universal.
Yes. So, although there's rumors and speculation that there is a connection between a set of restrooms as well as the Ministry of Magic, I doubt that Universal will have an entrance from the bathrooms to the Ministry of Magic in this area. Now, the Flu Network will be great. I think it'll set things up very well. We're gonna be walking through these fireplaces. There's gonna be green flames or, lighting, and it will transport you right into the Ministry. That leads us to talking about the rides that people get to look forward to, and or ride, to be very clear. Singular. I think this queue is going to be a sight in itself to be able to walk through.
Now, question I have, what book are we based off of?
It's like you read my mind. So, we don't know the real story behind this ride quite yet.
Could be very different scenes.
Right. When you think of the title of the ride, which I think I skipped. Sorry about that.
The Battle of the Ministry.
Yeah, we're looking at Harry Potter and the Battle of the Ministry. So we're back in Harry Potter times because we are in the British Ministry of Magic. Yes. We've gone from the 1920s. We've jumped forward. Thank you, Time Turner. Thank you, Flu Network. But we are back in Harry Potter times when we're on this ride. The ride could be focused around a couple different pieces of the Harry Potter series. We could be looking at a focus via the Order of the Phoenix, or we could be looking at more of the Deathly Hallows side of things. Two very different stories. Now, in the title, it says the Battle of the Ministry. When you think of the Battle of the Ministry, what piece in the Harry Potter series do you think of?
I think of the battle between Dumbledore and Voldemort, personally.
Right, and that's like a super epic battle. There's stuff flying, there's glass that gets turned to sand and water balls and all of that. Like, it is a epic
battle.
Epic universe, epic battle.
You gotta see this.
Yeah, right? You gotta see this. However, upon the initial release of this ride, there were rumors that the worst Harry Potter character may make an appearance within this ride. And I'm not talking Voldemort. I'm talking a more hated character than he who must not be named.
Dolores Umbridge.
Herself. If we're centering this ride around some sort of Dolores Umbridge story, I think we're looking at more of a Deathly Hallows style appearance within the storyline. When Harry, Ron, and Hermione take Polyjuice Potion, infiltrate the Ministry, but it doesn't mean that, I guess, the ride has to follow the books exactly.
You could see it very much like the Escape from Gringotts, where it's just like this alternate storyline that's running in conjunction with the J.K. Rowling movie / book.
Well, and that's typical. Like, J.K. tends to ask and require, maybe, that the storylines of the rides do not interfere with her actual story, but they ride in conjunction with it. So with Dolores, one of the speculations that's been put out there is that she is on trial following the Battle of Hogwarts.
Interesting.
And that there is some battle happening where Death Eaters come to help her and or fight you / Harry, who knows, and then you are fleeing from the Ministry and being chased potentially by Death Eaters and a pseudo Death Eater, Dolores Umbridge, who has...
She's not a Death Eater.
She's not a Death Eater, but she has like pink smoke so that you can tell it's her versus the black smoke of the Death Eaters of, when they fly. It could be interesting. We really don't know where the storyline is going to go. However, I think, let's talk a little bit about the characters that you might be able to see depending on the storyline that they write, okay? If they go with Order of the Phoenix, people that characters I think we can expect to see while on this ride. Arthur Weasley. Sirius Black, maybe? Now, nothing bad ever happens to him when he's at the Ministry of Magic, ever. And finally, just like you mentioned, that epic battle between Dumbledore and Voldemort would be pretty darn cool to be a part of, or like a bystander of during the ride and get to see this fight play out.
Now, one point I do want to make during the Order of the Phoenix is the storyline is like that Harry, Ron, and Hermione are going to get the prophecy.
Yes. As well as Neville. He is there also. And Luna Lovegood. I think that would be a pretty fun ride. Especially
given the idea that you're set in the lift. You could be an observer in this battle and be moving in and amongst, step down.
Going up and down and like finding the next scene.
This way, that way, finding the next scene, finding the next battle.
If they make me relive a bad thing happening to Sirius Black, I might cry on this ride though. So that's what I'm thinking if we are looking at a focus of Order of the Phoenix. Let's switch over though. If they focus on Deathly Hallows, I would expect that we are now a bystander. Then something goes terribly wrong, just as most of the rides do.
Goes terribly wrong.
When Harry, Ron, and Hermione have taken Polyjuice Potion, infiltrated the Ministry to try and get the Locket Horcrux that Dolores ends up having. If we're looking more at a Deathly Hallows storyline, a couple key characters I think we can expect to see on this ride then would be Corbin Yaxley, Albus Runcorn, Mathilda Hopkirk, and Reginald Corkemole, I think is how you say it. Cattermole. Reginald Cattermole. All of those are Harry, Ron, and Hermione.
Okay.
Harry, Hermione, and Ron in that particular order. But they wouldn't be Harry, Hermione, and Ron. They would be the characters that they are now under Polyjuice Potion looking like, but then they'd have their voices. And then finally, we would also have the mean one herself, Dolores Umbridge. Between these two storylines, I can see it really going either way. They have not done a lot around the Order of the Phoenix, and so that could be a very intriguing ride to focus on and a book to focus on, or at least a piece of that book. But also Deathly Hallows, we have not talked all that much in rides or anything in the wizarding world at this point, aside from at Weasley's Wizard Wheezes, you see Dolores. She has not been much of a focus on anything yet, and she is a very, very hated character.
If I'm bringing my logical self to the table...
I never do, but okay.
I'm more inclined to speculate that we're going to get an Order of the Phoenix, really because of those strong, major characters that more people are going to know about.
Dumbledore, Voldemort. But
Sirius.
Voldemort's already in a ride. Dumbledore is already seen before a ride.
It's my gut and I'm sticking to it.
Interesting. I want to know, what story do you expect the Battle of the Ministry to follow, or at least to be a bystander in watching? Very, very curious what we're going to see here. This ride is a dark ride. It is not a roller coaster.
Not a roller coaster.
It is also not a Kuka arm like what we see in Forbidden Journey, but you are on or in the lift system of the Ministry of Magic, which can go up, down, side to side, or at least make you feel like you're going up, down, and side to side. There's a lot of spec out there of like, here's kind of what the ride system looks like. I'm not an engineer. I don't really understand how it's gonna work, but I am super intrigued by how this ride will be built, what it will feel like, what it'll look like, and how we're gonna be moving up and down between those scenes. And like you said, kind of popping in and seeing what's happening next. Anything else you wanna talk about this, the ride? Because this is the only ride at this time that has been built and planned for the Wizarding World and Epic Universe.
But what else is gonna be in the land?
Good question. You can also expect a stage show. You will be leaving the British Ministry and going back to France for the stage show.
There's a lot going on here.
There's so much, and this land is so big. So we're hitting back to France, and they are planning a stage show. Now,
Dr. Oddfellow's Carnival of Oddities.
Stop bringing up Dr. Oddfellow, although he did have a show in the 1920s. But we're in the Wizarding World, in the streets of Paris, and there is a circus.
Muggercus.
Also no. There's a lot of, you're really tying these to a lot of different Universal
Crushing
pieces. In the streets of France, there will be a stage show that you will get to enter through an actual circus tent. They'll cue you in, and then you'll have a bigger, not atrium, but a bigger theater style seating. The show is centered around the Les Cirques Arcanus from the Fantastic Beasts series. And in this show on the movie, in the book, this is where we see Nagini for the first time. Do you remember who / what Nagini is?
Snake.
Okay, so Nagini is actually a human that transforms into a snake, and she is considered a maledictus. You nod your head like you know what a maledictus is.
Can transform into animals.
Animal. And also, Nagini, at a certain point, is unable, because she's a maledictus, to transform back to becoming a human at a point in time throughout her life. It's like, at some point she changes, and she's not able to change back. We see Nagini in the movie, and she is performing in this show, changing into her snake body. And we're probably going to be able to see that within this circus show as well. In the theater setting, there are 642 seats.
It's a big seat.
It's a big circus. And we're gonna get to experience what Les Cirques Arcanus provides to their, with the performers, with the animals, with the creatures, and is there gonna be a bearded lady? Who knows?
That's my speculation, is that they will utilize this circus atmosphere to unveil some of the super cool Fantastic Beasts. Hopefully there's a chillin'. Little cute little deer.
Will it be the zombie one or the living one?
Maybe it'll bow.
But that's big stuff if it bows.
Big stuff if it bows.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see what this show will be. They do have, from what we've seen, there will be live performers. There will be special effects.
Of course.
Water, lights,
fire.
Smoke. I don't think I saw anything about fire, but let's be real.
Probably.
I think the performance is going to be pretty awesome. Additionally, it looks like it's not just going to be like once every couple, like 30-minute time. It's like a show that happens all throughout the day. So I think it makes sense to have a stage show that's regularly occurring because you only have that one ride. And I mean, it's not like they have other shows to intersperse with it at this point that we're aware of. It's not like they have Celestina, but then they also have, you know, the Deathly Hallows, like that, those, or even over in Hogsmeade where we have the Triwizard, Spirit Rally, and the Frog Choir, like this is the show. So I think it's gonna feel more like a Bourne style show, more like a horror makeup. I think it's gonna be a bigger show than just, you know, a quick set. But at the same point, I think it's going to have some very, very great effects that we can look forward to. Finally,
Finally.
In this world, you gotta have stuff to buy.
Gotta
and to eat,
have merch and food.
right? So there are going to be particular retail shops, food, and just fun stuff to do. So we'll talk a little bit and go over the different shops that we are currently aware of that you can look forward to, and then the little details about them that we know so far. First and foremost, for retail locations. If you're in France, you need a wand shop as well, don't you?
Always.
Always. I'm gonna have you read the name of this because I don't know how to pronounce these things.
Cosmi Acajor Baguette Magique. Crushed it.
You did.
Absolutely crushed it.
This is going to be the wand shop. You're just gonna pronounce all the French ones for me. It's so good.
Oh boy.
This is the wand shop that is in the 1920s France. And the cool thing that I've seen so far, so in a traditional
Ollivander's
wand shop, you have rectangular boxes,
Okay.
right?
I'm with you.
In France, the boxes are triangular, kind of like a Toblerone. On top of that, they are advancing the wand spots right now. Did you know this?
No.
No. So currently in islands as well as studios, the wand spots are being updated with some gamification
Whatever that means.
games, which would then connect to an app, I'm certain.
Of course.
And yeah, we're technology advancing and all of that. Kind of like what we're seeing with Minion Blast, right?
I have concerns about that.
Yeah, some people love it, some people don't. But with the advancing of the wand spots in the current parks, I expect that there will be gamification already planned and created into the wand spots within the streets of Paris. And we're gonna get bigger and better options there, I think.
My concern with the increased technology and reliance on your phone is that it turns into basically the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, where you are doing missions that you just have your phone out and don't get to really enjoy the land.
Now, some people love this though. Some people absolutely love the additional factor of like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do this one particular mission, whatever a mission would be considered in the Wizarding World. I think that we can expect that that will be coming to Epic Universe. We already have seen that happen in Super Nintendo Land over in Hollywood. I think we're gonna get a lot more of that, particularly in this area, the Wizarding World, Nintendo, How to Train Your Dragon. I think the kid area is just gonna be a bit more like, hey, let's do a fun mission thing with a wand and Wingardium Leviosa, you get 10 points for that. To Gryffindor! Ooh, that's negative, a lot of points. Other things that you need if you are going to be visiting the Wizarding World.
Robes.
Of course. In the streets of Paris,
Paris.
there will be a robe shop.
Robe shop.
Mademoiselle Malkin's. Weird.
Weird.
That sounds just like
She franchised.
she franchised out from London.
No. From France to London because it was 1920s.
Ooh, so you're saying that Madame Malkin's was originally started in, we should look that up.
1920s France and then expanded to Diagon Alley.
Wow. Okay, curious thought there.
Good business.
Yeah, she has been doing some solid business over the years. But there will be a robe shop. I think we're gonna expect some very similar merchandise options. But I would be intrigued to see if they have any specialty options in the robe shop to kind of say, ooh, this one came from Paris.
I want Dumbledore's suit.
That would be pretty classy. On top of robes, you're gonna need a snack or two.
Of course.
So we do expect a sweet shop, which is in the works. Patisserie Matagot. Is that how you say it?
Close enough.
How would you pronounce the second part?
Sweet shop.
A sweet shop. Again, I think this is gonna be very similar to Sugar Plums or Honeydukes, but I think it's gonna be more on the baked goods side.
I still think Universal, you're really missing out on having a bakery in New York. You need a Kowalski's Bakery in the New York section of studios.
I don't disagree with this.
You just do.
A Kowalski's in New York would be fine, but this is supposed to be about Epic Universe. So, in this patisserie, if they don't have some like chocolate croissant or some like specialty filled croissant,
Missing out.
they've missed the mark. There needs to be something like that. Additionally, we have another retail store. It is Les Galeries Mérifiques.
Magnifique.
Mérifique. Again, I can't wait to hear how people actually pronounce the names of these because I just don't know how to say them very well yet.
Not very French.
No. We have tour in Flou as well. So there's 2 retail shops, sorry about that. 2 retail shops so far planned. And then additionally, this is a big area.
Big area.
An open air arcade. I think that this is really where that gamification with the wand spots comes in.
Ooh, dueling.
Also could be cool.
Would be sick.
Well, and with the new wand spot that they're currently building by the lockers in front of Forbidden Journey, which is like you are practicing dueling against an item, like there could be much more of that in this open air arcade. One piece I do want to point out just within the streets of Paris is I think that we can expect a special ode to Nicolas Flamel. Nicolas Flamel is in the Fantastic Beasts movies, as well as he is a key character within the Sorcerer's Stone. He lives in the streets of Paris. We see him helping our main characters in the Fantastic Beasts series out. So I think that we can at least expect some special ode in the streets of Paris to him or his house, kind of like what we have seen with Grimmauld Place and Creature. Last but not least, restaurants.
Restaurants.
So there are 2 major restaurants that we have seen currently planned out in the build for the streets of Paris, okay? And we have a large dining area and a small dining area. They're both quick service. In the large dining area, we have 281 seats, and it is attached to a very nice walk-up bar, kind of like how they did the 3 broomsticks connected to the Hogshead. And then in the small dining area, we have 227 seats. The names of these restaurants are Café L'Art de Serene.
Good enough.
Again, if you guys know how to pronounce these better, please let us know. And then Les Gobelets Noirs. That one was a little bit easier. The Wagga bar is called Bar Moonshine. Super easy to say.
Easy.
Big fan of that. And I'm excited to see what kind of food are we going to be able to expect here? How is it going to be themed? JK really wanted to make sure that in her current Wizarding World restaurants, it was very authentically themed. No outside
food or drink
was in. That's why we're not seeing like Coca-Cola products within the Wizarding World. I think we can expect the exact same style in here, but more themed around 1920s France.
French food.
Yeah, so I don't know what that'll really look like, but do you think we will still have butterbeer?
Oh yeah.
I'm a big fan, very excited to see all of the things that we're gonna get in this new Wizarding World area. If you've made it this far, there are some expansion rumors to talk about. 2 particularly. The first one is a virtual reality ride. Did you hear about this?
Brooms.
Yes, so initially in the concept art, we saw that there was a second ride being planned, and it was a virtual reality ride with the idea of you're on a broomstick. That has been since cut and is not currently in the plans. However, it's also been rumored that that virtual reality ride may end up getting placed over in studios. With the renovation of Fear Factor Live and having that area taken down, it could be replaced with another Wizarding World ride focused around a virtual reality of brooms. And then the second rumored expansion that has been talked about already is looking at Epic Universe for the Wizarding World, and it would be an addition of the Great Hall.
We are just bouncing from location to location in this land.
We're back to the British Ministry and then to France and then to the Great Hall, but it's done through magic, so it's okay. So there's potential of an additional restaurant / show of it within the Great Hall at Hogwarts. Which, yes, the Hogwarts Castle is located in Hogsmeade in Islands of Adventure, but you would be able to get to it from France via the Floo network because JK said it was okay.
Because magic.
And money. Either way, I'm here for it. I am so excited about what we're going to get to experience in this new Wizarding World. I'm curious, what are you most looking forward to, and how do you think it's gonna go traveling from France to London via the Floo network?
If you got anything out of this video, please subscribe to the channel. It really does help us out quite a bit. Stick around for more Universal content. Thanks for watching.
Bye.